Okay, so this is an opinion about opinions, and you can have an opinion on this and share your opinion about my opinion and their opinions, and I will share your opinion, and everyone else can have an opinion on your opinion. So today I want to talk about journalism and this new trend in South African media of journalists sharing their opinion after delivering the news, which is in some ways contrary to what journalism teaches. Because I'm a journalist. Well, I was a journalist for 14 years. I worked at ENCA as a journalist. So when I talk about this topic, I'm talking about it from like a deep involvement with journalism. When you study journalism, one of the things they teach you right at the beginning is objectivity and how to control your bias. And the best way, it's very difficult to control. So the best way to do it is to actually not have an opinion on something and to try and let the story speak, let the characters speak. But even then, who you give more airtime or writing space to is somehow down to what your bias is towards the story. So it's very difficult. What we have right now, though, is we have journalists delivering the news that we are supposed to trust as objective, and then directly after that, telling us how they feel about clicks. There's no separation between the news and the opinion. It's one continuous flow. It's side by side, which is a problem because we all have implicit and explicit bias. We have things that we feel a certain way about based on how we were treated and how we were raised, on the family structure that we currently live in, on how we interacted with other race groups, how they treated us. Those things all inform our bias, sometimes implicit, unconscious, you're not aware of it, and sometimes explicit. And what we are now doing is we're now telling the people that we trust to give us the fair news, the fair independent news. We're now giving these people the opportunity to tell us what their biases are. Now, you could say that's a good thing because you know where they stand. But for us to have a media we can trust, we have to have an objective media where opinion and news is separate, because that line between the two becomes blurred and people start thinking opinions are the news. These are the facts when they're not the facts. Right. Now, if you open a newspaper, and this is important, you will see the news and then you'll see a page called the op-ed, opinion editorial. This is a page separated where opinions and editorial, and sometimes it has a disclaimer explaining that these are opinions and these opinions might not reflect the view of the station. Very important little disclaimer there because it separates the news from the opinion. What we are trying to do, as I see it, and someone who consumes a lot of news, is we are directly going after the very successful, financially successful Fox, CNN models, where your famous journalists become talking heads, where they talk on the view, or they become the voice of one side. So for example, if you watch Fox News, Tucker Carlson, if you watch CNN, Don Lemon. But even these guys, there's a separation. We know they are delivering an opinion piece. So you tune in for Tucker Carlson tonight, you know this is 1 hour or whatever, 20 minutes of opinion. This is opinion. It's clear. Some people interpret it as news, but it's opinion. What we have here is we have news anchors who we are depending on to be fair and honest, now telling us how they feel about this as a white person or as a black person. And these views are important for all of us to share our views. But one of the tenets of journalism, one of the things that makes journalism respectable, is that we can trust that the person delivering their news is not lacing it with their own bias. So the question is, do you feel journalists should give opinions after reading the news? And remember, when you answer this, I have given you my opinion. I've laced this video with my opinion. So you're going to respond based on part of my opinion and how that influenced the way you saw this whole issue, which is exactly the point I'm trying to make.